Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're keeping well. Many thanks for joining this particular webinar, and we are going to look at the accountancy postgraduate programs at UCD Michael Smurfit Graduate Business School. In particular, I'm going to be talking about the Masters of Accounting program, which we will refer to as the MAC, and the Masters in Accounting and Financial Management. I'm joined by MAC and MSc in the AFM Program Manager, Neve Smith.
Hello,
We have
everyone.
James O'Connor, who is a class ambassador on the MAC program, and Tejaz, who is a class ambassador on the Accounting and Financial Management program. And we'll be sure to bring those guys in later to give you the student perspective on the program and what they have done in the year to date. So, guys, I'm just going to go through the two programs. I'll introduce myself very quickly. So, my name is Sean O'Reilly. I'm an assistant professor of accountancy at UCD. I lecture the audit modules on both programs. I'm a chartered accountant, and I am also the program director for the MAC. My colleague John McCallick, who unfortunately can't log in today, he is the program director for the MSc in Accounting and Financial Management, and we have contact details for both John and I at the end of the slides, that if you want to email about any academic related queries, you can do so after this particular webinar. Guys, I'm going to start off with just in general, okay, the accountancy qualification and how important it is and how you can do many, many, many different things in your career with this particular qualification. I, for one, have done a lot and maybe gone down a different route and gone into academia, but it would not have been possible without the accountancy qualification. There is no doubt about that. So my background is I'm a chartered accountant. I did the FAE exams with Chartered Accountants Ireland. But what does the accountancy qualification actually give you? Because this is the foundation from these two programs to have a career in accountancy. First of all, it expands your career options. There are so many options for accountants now, especially in the current world that we live in, where there's such focus on AI, sustainability, and the role of the accountant has a huge part to play in those particular areas. It will probably also give you access to higher level positions. Okay, so even from an Irish context, we know that I think 97% of CFOs in listed companies are all qualified accountants. Okay, so you will probably have a better opportunity to obtain better jobs or higher level positions in those companies. It's a long-term investment in your career. So you might think about potentially doing a master's program, but what do you get in the long term? Okay, it's a short term, maybe cost, or short term in the sense that you're giving up a year studying full time, but the reward is huge, and there's just so many options available that you guys don't even realize yet. And I'm happy to chat about some of them if there's any Q&A later on. There's a very clear career path when you decide to undertake a professional accountancy qualification, whether that's through Chartered Accountants Ireland or ACCA or CIMA. It's a very, very clear path. And I have a couple of slides to actually show you the breakdown of that particular path and what it looks like if you do embark on one of the master's programs at UCD Michael Smurfit Graduate Business School, and what you will do over the next couple of years. There's a lot of international options, both maybe from international cohort who want to study at UCD. The job market in Ireland is very buoyant at the moment for accountants. But likewise, for maybe students who wish to do a master's program to travel, this is a global passport having the accountancy qualification, because you're very employable in almost every single jurisdiction in the world. Okay. And we know that a lot of our alumni have major positions in multinational firms all over the world. Now, I'm going to start off with the MAC first and foremost. Okay. So we have an expert team of lecturers, which I hope James will allude to later on when I hand over to him. But a lot of our lecturers work with Chartered Accountants Ireland, or we bring in some expert lecturers to deliver some of the some of the core modules as part of this particular program. So you are going to be taught by the best people in this given field, some of whom you will meet again when you are doing final exams with Chartered Accountants Ireland or ACCA. The other really important thing with this particular program is that the class sizes are quite small. So they vary from, 30 to 50. And that's a quite small, and James will allude to this later on, I'm sure, about how close and tight-knit the groups usually are on the MAC, because you come from maybe a university with hundreds of students in a class to now small group sizes or small class sizes, a lot of group work, and it's a totally different dynamic. So you're getting really, really good tuition here in a small classroom environment. You're also getting a master's from a top university with top accreditations. So if you undertake the MAC program, you will obtain CAP 2 exemptions from Chartered Accountants Ireland, meaning that when you enter a firm, or if you want to do the FAEs as a flexible route, you already have exemptions from the second part of 3 exams. So we have CAP 1, CAP 2, and FAE if you are embarking on the Chartered Accountants Ireland route. UCD has accreditations on this particular program that will allow you exemptions from CAP 2. So that means you only have to do one set of exams at the end to become a qualified accountant. Likewise, we are the only university in the country that we have one exemption on the Part 2s for the Institute of Tax. Okay, so if you want to embark on a career in taxation, we have an exemption from the Irish Tax Institute, which is something that is very unique as well. Also, we have a huge network of alumni. Okay, UCD MAC program is well known. It's the longest and most successful and highest ranked master's program in accountancy in the country. So the network of alumni is vast. So full CAP 2 exemptions from Chartered Accountants Ireland. You will then move on to the FAEs, which we have a 100% pass rate for the last 3 consecutive years. So if you do the MAC at UCD, you have, statistically speaking, 100% chance of passing based off the last 3 years of results. We've also embedded some new modules, which I'll show you now in a moment. I've put a kind of a table in of the modules for the upcoming semester in September, but we have advanced materials in financial reporting, tax, sustainability reporting, and machine learning and AI. And I'll show you the breakdown now, but we have made some adjustments and the website is currently live at the moment with those particular changes in place already. Now, the big thing here, guys, if you're entering this program, and this is something that may be a stumbling block for some, but please post this into the chat or ask us any questions that you might have on this. This is a very demanding program. It's a very challenging program. And as such, the criteria to enter the program means you have to have a high 2-1 to obtain a place. So your entry GPA has to be 3.3. But you also have to have CAP 1 exemptions from Chartered Accountants Ireland. That is the bare minimum requirement to enter the program. And that is because you're obtaining CAP 2 exemptions. So you have to have the CAP 1 exemptions already. So if anybody is concerned or they don't know whether they've obtained CAP 1 exemptions, or you are maybe going through your university degree at the moment and it may or may not have all of the CAP 1 exemptions, feel free to post or reach out to me at any stage and we'll be able to clarify that for you. But just to be aware, you have to have CAP 1 exemptions and you have to have a high GPA. How this works when you, let's say, undertake the MAC, because a lot of people say, why would I do this instead of going into a company and doing my exams? Well, the big difference, I believe, is the fact that you will be working and studying simultaneously if you go into one of the firms. And that can be really, really difficult when you have something known as busy season. So a lot of firms will be working big hours on audit and you then have to go and study or catch up on lectures. It's very, very difficult. Whereas with the MAC, you are studying full time for a year. So for example, let's say 2024-25. So in the current year, you're an undergraduate, okay? Now, you don't necessarily have to be an undergraduate. Maybe you're coming back from a couple of years away from studying, and we can talk about that. That's no problem. But 25-26, so in the next academic year, if you go direct into a firm, you're doing CAP 2s. Or you come into us and you do the MAC. In 26-27, in year 2 of if you're direct entry, you're doing the FE straight away. However, if you do the MAC, you have no exams in the first year. This allows you to settle into your job, to get familiar with your surroundings, to understand whatever department you're in, whether it's audit, tax, or consulting a little bit more. And then in 27-28, you will be doing the FAEs if you do the MAC, okay? If you go 28-29, your contract is finished. It's a 3-year contract versus a 3.5-year contract, okay? If anybody has any other specific questions, please feel free to ask. The big benefit, in my opinion, is the ability to study full-time, obtain the exemptions, you start work and you don't have exams to do. That's a big, big thing, okay? And we know statistically speaking, it's very, very hard to go in and try pass all those CAP 2s in the first sitting, okay? Now, in terms of how the modules are laid out for the MAC for next year, what we have in bold here are the core modules, okay? So in trimester 1, we have Audit and Assurance 1, which I teach, Capital and Indirect Taxes, Financial Reporting, Management Accounting. In trimester 2, we have Accounting and Business Analytics, Advanced Financial Accounting, Auditing and Assurance. That should say 2. Apologies, there's a typo there. That should be 2. Corporate and Personal Taxation. And then in trimester 3, You have integrative analysis in accounting, which is a case study based module, which is a great replication of what you'll be doing at FAEs, strategic finance, and then you have optional modules then, and you select two of the following. AI and machine learning, very, very, very topical in the current business environment, financial data technology, managing performance, sustainability reporting and analysis, and taxation summer school. If you are embarking on a career in taxation, it will be really, really important to try and do that particular module because that is the one that gives you the additional exemption to the Irish Tax Institute. Okay, guys, I want to make sure that our class ambassadors get a chance to speak. So I'm just going to keep going through these slides if that's okay. And again, I think there might be a couple of questions, but we'll keep an eye on it. Please feel free to keep any questions coming in and we will get back to them as quick as we can. Okay. Now I move on to the MSc in Accounting and Financial Management. We've made a lot of changes to this program, which pretty much the changes were in effect from last September. Okay, September 2024. And this is the first full cycle that Tejas would have done and we're going to hear from him very shortly to see how it went, okay? It's a flexible program. It's focused on maybe accounting practice. There's finance, sustainable business and reporting, analytics and AI, all embedded in this course, okay? But I think the biggest selling point to this program now is that first and foremost, if you wish to obtain SEMA exemptions, you have full SEMA exemptions if you do this program up to strategic level. Now, what does that mean for people who are unsure? If you do this program and you want to obtain your SEMA qualification, that's a Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, you only have one final exam to do, one big case study, and then you have a SEMA qualification. You also obtain Cap 1 exemptions from Chartered Accountants Ireland, the only master's program in accounting and financial management in Ireland that provides that. Yes, there are other postgraduate diplomas that provide it, but this is a master's from one of the best universities with top accreditation. Okay, so you obtain Cap 1 exemptions from Chartered Accountants Ireland. You also obtain ACCA exemptions for, I'm pretty sure, all of the modules. Okay, in terms of audit, financial management, financial reporting, performance management, taxation at the applied level. So that means you are then going on to the strategic level of ACCA. So you're at the final stages. Okay, so this is probably the master's program with the most exemptions from it. SEMA, Cap 1 from Chartered Accountants Ireland, and ACCA exemptions. So this would suit somebody who maybe has come from an accounting background, but maybe doesn't have all the exemptions. Also, we are open to taking people that want to, transition from a different career path, but they would have to have a very, very strong GPA to be considered for this. So that could be someone from science, engineering, maths, economics, and they want to convert over to become an accountant. This would be the ideal program because you're setting your career path very clear that you're going to get the exemptions and you have multiple exemptions, and then you can decide what professional accountancy body you want to go down. In terms of the modules or the curriculum, and again, it's a similar structure from the EMAC, okay, in that there's 4 modules in each of the trimesters. Something that's really good to try and get some of the students used to terminology from accounting. We have an accounting and business bootcamp, which takes place at the start of September for 2 weeks. Following on from that, then we have strategic corporate finance, strategic management, financial and ESG reporting, very, very topical area, management and environmental accounting. So we are covering off some of the hottest topics in business and accounting in that particular first trimester. Trimester 2, then, financial risk management, accounting for performance control, accounting and business analytics. And a lot of you guys on this call probably realize how important analytics is in the business world and in accounting and the role that accountants play in data analytics. There's law and governance as well, which is really important to obtain some of the exemptions in ACCA in particular. And then you have your summer trimester, advanced financial reporting, auditing and assurance, which I teach, taxation, AI and machine learning and accounting, financial data technology, sustainability reporting and analysis, and managing performance. Now, depending on which modules you choose, you may or may not obtain exemptions. So for example, if you decide not to do auditing and assurance, you won't be able to get the auditing and assurance exemptions from ACCA, for example. But maybe you don't want to do that. So it will really be dependent, but there's a lot of options available. My colleague John has kindly put this together on the outlook for, let's say, somebody doing the MSc Accounting and Financial Management. So similar, if you undertake the program at Smurfit, next year, your first year in a company will be 1 year of work experience. In 2027, 2028, you're an ACCA finalist with 2 years of work experience, and then you have the time to complete the other 4 exams. ACCA is very, very flexible for those that are unsure. It's a very flexible route. The exams take place 4 times a year, one exam sitting each quarter, and it's up to you and your employers really how you would go about that. You could do all 4 of them at once, but usually it's better to spread them out. One exam maybe every 6 months, we'll say over 2 years, and there you have your 4 final exams completed. In 2028, 29, hopefully if you've passed, you'll be ACCA qualified with 3 years of work experience. Very similar route to that of the chartered accountant. In terms of our industry links and alumni network, guys, and this is something that UCD Michael Smurfit Graduate Business School and UCD in general have, that a lot of universities just do not have. It's the fact that a lot of our graduates are CEOs of some of the biggest companies in Ireland, and not even Ireland, but further afield as well. We've many, many Big Four partners, so Big Four being PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, and EY. A lot of our alumni are CFOs in some of the biggest companies in the world. In terms of the IFSC, the Irish Financial Services Centre, we know that some of the biggest companies or multinationals globally are located here. We hear this now more than ever due to the trade tariffs that have been discussed by the US administration, and we see how important some of these companies are to the Irish economy. But we have many of our graduates and alumni working in those firms, and this is the path that could be ahead for you guys as well. So I am going to leave it at that in terms of the slides. If you guys have any questions, and I'll bring Niamh in one moment. I hope I didn't miss anything, Niamh, but we have the Smurfit School website, Smurfit Admissions, if you want to contact them for any maybe admissions related queries. But if there's any content related queries or exemptions that myself or my colleague John McCallagh can answer, please reach out. So I am the program director for the MAC, the Masters of Accounting, and John is a program director for what we call the MSc AFM, the Masters in Accounting and Financial Management. Niamh, would you like to jump in there?
Yep, thank you very much, Sean. That was very good and very informative, and a good distinction between the two programs, MAC and MAC, and Master in Accounting and Financial Management. So I have one question here that a student has just asked, who's coming from a Bachelor in Management. How they would like to know the difference between management program and the AFM. Is AFM a more quantitative orientated course?
Yes, it definitely will be. Yeah, there's no doubt on that. I'm not going to pretend it's not. So if you look through some of the autumn trimester 1, and Tejaz will be able to verify this, but there's a lot of maths involved in those particular ones, from corporate finance. Strategic management is a qualitative. So you coming from a management degree will fly that particular course, their module, there's no doubt about it. But financial and ESG reporting, you're going to be preparing financial statements. Management and environmental accounting, yeah, you're going to be looking at concepts such as break-even analysis or net present value calculations. So yeah, there is a lot more quantitative subjects there. However, that's what the Accounting and Business Bootcamp is for, to kind of, if you feel that this will be appropriate for you or you would like to embark on a career as an accountant, I think the Accounting and Business Bootcamp can help guide you through the first trimester, but there is no doubt that the first trimester is very heavy on the quantitative side. So, Niamh, I think that really answers the question, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. There is another question there, and I see Fiona from admissions is typing, but I'll also answer it from the program manager point of view. Is the MAC, is there a timeline for MAC when it typically gets filled? Basically, there is for all programs within Smurfit, and it's capacity managed, obviously, but it tends to be one of the smaller side programs. It's quite intense, the MAC, so it's very specific, and people they tend to know the track that they want to go on if they're going to go into the MAC. So I would say that there is plenty of time. At the same time, I can't guarantee anything. You still need to get your CAP 1s into us, and there is an admissions procedure that needs to be followed. So there's a bit of criteria there, but if you have any questions at all, you can contact either myself or admissions, so we can give you a bit more guidance on that. Thank you.
Super, Niamh. Thank you. Niamh, there's another question there that maybe I'll answer, or maybe you can answer. I don't know, but it says, when is the proper time to get CAP exemptions? I'm not really sure what is meant by that, but I suppose, let's say you are doing, if this particular individual is coming from one of the Irish universities, and you're waiting on your final examinations. If it was a UCD situation, you know, Niamh, the results come out in UCD in June. So we would have proof that you have passed the exams and obtained the required score to get those Cap 1 exemptions. And then it's just a case of sharing it with the admissions team, I presume. And then that's how we will find out.
That's correct. There are obviously, depending on the college you're going to, we would have, if you're in UCD, we have the direct access to your Cap 1s. And if you don't, we just have to get proof from your college as well. And if you're in second year in economics, you just need to make sure that you are selecting your modules, or even first year, selecting the correct modules in order to get the Cap 1s prior to joining the MAC programme. There's no more questions there at the moment. Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
No, there's no more questions at the moment, but what we might do, just because there's only 10 minutes left on this particular session, Tejaz, we might ask you first and then James, you know, how is the course going? How did you find the first trimester in particular? And maybe if you have any comments for the guys that are listening in.
Sure, Sean. Yeah.
Tejas, how are you finding the course so far, and has it answered any of your career queries, or has it kind of led you down a particular career path that you wanted to be led down, or that you didn't envisage before joining the program?
Yeah, hi, New. So the course would be quite challenging for me in a bit, but it was a overall positive experience for me. So the most important thing that the course offers is the exemptions. So you could many more. You could choose any between anything like CIMA or ACA or ACCA. So that gives me a lot of opportunities when it comes to applying for graduate programs. So yeah, that would be it from my end. Yeah.
And have you got any particular areas that you feel that somebody could prepare, or that they should have prior knowledge to the course, or any particular type of student that would be more suited to the AFM course?
Not in particular, because like Sean said, the accounting bootcamp does prep you for the course upcoming. So we do have my peers do come from a different background. They do have some of them worked for a couple of years and they just came back to university after a while. So the accounting bootcamp does prep you for the modules incoming during the semesters. Yeah.
That's super, Tejas. Thanks a million. And James, with regards to the MAC program, I know obviously that a lot of the students in the current MAC, they came from a different college backgrounds. Is there anything that you would say somebody could prepare coming into the MAC, or is it just basically come in the way you are and you learn as you go? Or have you any particular advice for incoming people?
Yeah, hello everyone as well. I came from TU Dublin, so I wasn't in UCD. What I'd say to that is it's kind of just to learn as you go. In regards to the last question as well, I actually got my Cap 1 exemptions from my college around July, August time. So I knew I had the GPA and my Cap 1s required. It was just sending them in. I'm the only one from my campus that's in. I've got two other guys in my course from TU Dublin. There's a select few, like majority are UCD. There's Maynooth, there's a lot of colleges. So I wouldn't really think that's a factor to play in with. I think you just have to keep an open mind as well. On the first day, it's really helpful that people come in. Past alumni came in and was speaking to us as well. I think the amount of support that you get as well in the college is really useful. If you have the support, I think you should just use it, because I've used it in the past, in my only past couple of months here, and I think it's helped me extremely well. I think also your lecturers as well, although they'll give you knowledge in terms of the modules as well, they'll give you life advice as well, which is very useful in terms of being in the workplace, how you present yourself, just all type of things that can really help you, and has helped me certainly as I go into my next couple of months going into the workforce.
Thank you very much, James and Tejas. That was very helpful.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any particular questions about the content of the course or about the type of skills or where it leads to?
Probably I was just gonna say something just to add on my part anyway. Like I know probably to the students here, I know it seems like obviously Mac for me as well is it's a lot of work, but it's not all just work. Like the people I've met in my class have been so helpful. They're so knowledgeable as well, so I can take that in. And we've planned so many events outside of college. So it's not you can work hard and most definitely you should work hard, but it's also an enjoyable experience. We planned. I was one of the people that planned to go to Prague. So most of our Mac class went to Prague last January, and it was a brilliant experience. It was great for people to bond as well. It is a tough course, but once you have people around you, like-minded people who want to work and want to succeed, it makes it a very successful environment to be around.
That's great, James. Thank you so much. It's nice to hear as well. I still need the gossip from the Prague trip. But anyway, there's one more question there. Students from AFM can only choose one type of exemptions, right? So, Sean, would you be able to answer that one?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, no. So it's not that you get to choose one type. You will obtain all of these exemptions. It just then depends what you want to do afterwards. So if you want to say, I want to become a chartered accountant and do my exams with Chartered Accountants Ireland, you will then move on to the next stage of those exams. Or if you want to do ACCA, you will move on to those type of exams. Believe it or not, Neve, somebody actually emailed me today asking, what's the benefit of doing both of them? That sounds great, but it's a lot of work, and I don't know why someone would want to do both qualifications because you're already professionally qualified. So to answer that question, it's not that you can only choose one of them. You will decide what particular accountancy body you want to go with. You get all the exemptions, and maybe in the future you might say, you know what, I'm a chartered accountant. I want to keep doing exams. I want to do ACCA, and you can do that with the exemptions. You carry them forward for the rest of your career, really.
Just to add to that, most of your spring and autumn modules are pre-selected. So you have a selection in the summer module. So there's a module called managing performance. That's where the CIMA exemptions come through. So people interested in doing CIMA could very well choose the module. Yeah, that's from me.
Super, Tejas. That's great.
Thank you very much.
Another question came in here, but I was actually just typing the response, but I'll type it and I'll read out as well, because someone says, if we are getting remaining exemptions from ACCA external candidate exams in July, can you still apply for the MAC? Most definitely. And this actually was the case for 2 students last year, that they had to do one of the exemptions externally because they didn't actually get the exemptions in their university. And as such, they applied, and they had to wait to get the proof of the result, which came out in maybe September. But everything went well, and those 2 students are on the course. So yes, if you're doing an external exam, or you unfortunately maybe are sick for one of your own final exams and you have to repeat it in August, you can definitely still apply. Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. I know we're nearing the end. I just have a question here that isn't open to the public there, but I can see it. It just says, what is Dublin like for the careers within the AFM and the MAC? Quite a high percentage of MAC students come in already sponsored by the client companies from the Big Four. And then there are a percentage of students that come in and actually get employment while they're here or just after they're here with the help of the career services that we have in Smurfit. And they tend to be in Dublin, as far as my knowledge is anyway, or in my experience. And I've been looking after the MAC program for a number of years. The AFM is a relatively new program, and I can again, in my experience, the students have had employment globally and all around Ireland, but a lot in Dublin as well. So anybody I've kept in touch with, there's been a broad range of where they get their types of jobs and location-wise, and also types of jobs they get as well. There's quite a broad range as well, from setting up their own companies to actually getting in-house employment within as a tax trainee, etc. There's a lot of different types of positions out there.
Super, Niamh. Thanks for that. Niamh, we just hit 4 p.m. I can't believe how quick that's gone. Thanks to the guys for giving their insight. Thanks to Gillian and Fiona in the background helping out. And Niamh, thank you very, very much as always as well. I think we can, do we wrap it up with that?
Yep. Thank you,
Yeah.
James. Thank you to Jess, and thank you, Sean. This is great.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.